Hi everyone. Today's video is going to be A-Levels English May-June 2023 exam. Paper 3 Language Analysis. How to attempt it, what is the question paper about. This is the most updated video in which I'm going to tell you about specifically about this paper 3 language analysis, right? So, the question number 1 is language change. Read text A, B and C. Analyze how text A exemplifies the various ways in which the English language has changed over time. So far, English language has changed completely, my dear friends. You can see the collocations are changed, the connotations are changed, the syntax, semantics has changed, the words are completely changed. Before we used to write, the word color, COLOUR. Now the spellings are even changed of the words. So there are, differentiation in the words, American English, British English. So there's a lot of change in English language, over time. So you, in your answer, have to refer to specific details from text A, B, and C. You guys will be given 3 texts altogether. So you have to just refer back to your ideas and examples from your wider study of language change. And I'm sure that you have read detailed answers and responses on the language change from the book which I have provided already in my previous videos. So in this question paper, this is paper of May-June 2023, right? So in this one, the text A is basically extract from an instruction manual written in 1833 by a tailor called W. Hearn, right? Hearn's art of cutting breeches, pantaloons, trousers, even the trousers spellings you can see previously were quite different, of all sizes to fit the human form. Third edition of part the fourth, introduction part 4. In the preceding parts of this work, I have endeavored to simplify as far as possible the art of cutting coats of every form and make. So what you guys have to do is that you have to read the text in detail, each and everything, what he has written, what is the actual English used to be followed previously, and how English language has changed over time. You will be picking up the words which are different in it, the spellings which are different, how they've used the punctuations continuously. So what is the lexis, semantics, syntax? So this is actually it is, right? Now the text B is the collocates, the collocates of the verb. In 1470s to 1690s, the words were used like this, and now in this 2012 to 13, the words are quite easy and simple, and they're changed completely, right? And from the corpus of global web-based English, you can see the texts are collected from the internet. So you can see, of course, everything is updated on internet quite abruptly. And apart from that, there is text C, that is the n-gram graph. There are 2 words might be given in the collocations of n-gram graph. There might be any, adjectives or verbs will be given, and they will show you in the n-gram graph that how the words are changed and what was the fall of this word and where the rise of that word, begins. So this is how it is, right? Now let me show you a complete document through which you guys can get a clear idea. Alright, my dear friends, so this is the complete document which I can show you, through which you can prepare your A-Levels English paper 3 language analysis basically, right? This is your paper 3, and we are discussing the updated paper pattern of language analysis. And I'm sure the students who are appearing for their exam in May-June, they can definitely get a lot of help through this, because it's only English language has changed over time. So you need not to worry about anything, right? Students, you have to analyze the language features, not tailoring. Keep this thing in your mind. What you have to look for: lexical change, the grammatical change, the archaic lexis, endeavored, hitherto, ought, clothing terms now obsolete or reduced in use, like breeches, pantaloons. You have to just highlight these words, and you have to link them in your answer. Then there is grammar and syntax which you have to look for. Long multi-clause sentences, if they are used, please underline them right in the first, when you have started reading your answer, or like your text, when you have started reading your text, you have to abruptly underline the long multi-clause sentences, the heavy use of coordination and subordination, the formal first person stance like I have endeavored. This you have to, and then you have to create a comparison, or either you have to talk about the language change, that this is the change, and you have to comment on it. This is basically you have to comment on it. You have to create a contrast comment, with modern contrast with modern instructional texts. They are shorter, they are clearer, impersonal. So you see, the English which was used in the previous past era was quite in detailed. There were long, detailed sentences and tenses. But now we are in this modern era, so the internet is all over and people are continuously on social media. So social media era is basically the one which is that Gen Z, where Gen Z used to use this short language, abrupt, shorter, clearer, language which is impersonal and not in extreme detail, because the attention span is quite less, right? So orthography and capitalization, you have to see. Random capital letters were there. Trousers, I mean, this is a very common noun, but still they've capitalized it. The trade word, inconsistent spellings, you can see that. So you have to comment on it. Linked to the lack of standardization pre-19th century. There was a lack of standardization in the pre-19th century. Comment on it. There was discourse and register. What is the tone? Authorial authority and self-promotion, didactic and confident tone. This you have to talk about. Reflect 19th century professional identity and social hierarchy. Now text B. This is a collocated table, right? This is a supporting evidence. This text shows semantic change using the verb flatter. So how students should use it? Early English collocates still use hopes, please. These were the words in the past era, in the early in the early English. They used to do it in 1770s or 1800s. But in the modern collocates, myself, figure, body, some words are very clear, easy, and we are able to understand that. This shows the shift from moral to social meaning, right? Social media is all over, so it's a social, you can say, era. Physical, self-image meaning. Students should link this to text A's phrase, I flatter myself, semantic shift influenced by cultural change. Do not describe the table only, always connect back to text A. Text C is anagram graph. You have to just explain everything in one go in a continuous writing, right? Language change over time, text C. This is where many students panic, and please don't panic in text C. It's very easy to read the anagram graph and comment on it, but it's actually how it's easy, what the graph shows. Breaches means declines sharply after 1800. You have to just see that anagram graph and then see why I'm saying this. Trousers rises steadily. This word trousers disappears. Spelling standardization, this disappears. So this supports the lexical replacement is there. Standardization of spelling is continuously there, because if you see in the past dictionaries, the words were quite outdated. They used the past outdated word which were there in the early English. But now in the modern English, you can see the books are quite updated. The paragraphs, the descriptive writings, the essays are all updated according to this era. The industrial and fashion change is almost there. You guys can see that. So of course, there's a huge impact on English language, and we can definitely see an evident change in English language has changed over time. And yes, there is a huge transformation. Refer to the general trends, not exact percentages. Use comparative language like declines, overtakes, becomes dominant. Now, wider language change. I'm going to definitely show you a sample response. So you need to be with me until the end of the video so as to see the sample response, and you can just learn some of the words and sentences and you can exactly create your own answer like that. You have to naturally weave in standardization, dictionaries and printing press. Comment about it or on it. Prescriptivism, industrial revolution, technological and social change is always there. Descriptivism, the modern English is always, where there is much descriptive, essays, descriptive stories. So do not write theory paragraphs separately, integrate smoothly. From the text, you have to extract and integrate the ideas, smoothly, but from your wider study. Okay, now the ideal answer structure. This is something very important to note down. Please note it down on your registers. First, you have to give the introduction short, sharp, crisp, and clear. Right? Time period, you have to talk about the text type. What is the text type? Overall claim about change. Then the body paragraphs, 4 to 5 paragraphs. Each paragraph starts with a clear claim. Uses text A quotation. What kind of quotations are used there? What kind of wordings writer has used? Supports with the text B or C. Then you have to move towards the collocations and the n-gram graph, right? Explain the type of change. What is the type of change happened there? Link to the wider knowledge. Then the conclusion. Summarize the key changes. Reinforces. You have to reinforce at the end why text A exemplifies historical English. Please read out something about the historical English, then you will get to know more. Because why I am not adding a lot of things in my video while recording it, because then it's going to be boring, because I'm just giving you the key points and you guys definitely can work out on it. Okay, I am mostly focusing on the sample introduction, exam ready thing, just to give you a clear insight how you have to write and make your responsibility. Text A, an extract from an 1833 tailoring manual exemplifies several keys. This is an introduction. This is the best introduction you guys can create, and this is how you can embed knowledge into it. The common mistakes, please, I'm warning you for this. Yes, we have to warn the students. Narrating history without language analysis. If you don't know and you cannot do the language analysis, please don't narrate the history. You have to read something, not something basically. You have to read a lot about the history of English, right? History of English, the old English and the modern English. You have to then, you should know what is language analysis, how to do it, what is the way of analysis, what is the meaning of analysis, how do people analyze it according to the grammar, sentence structure, semantics, syntax, what are the ways, how do we analyze it. Treating text B and C as separate questions, please, these are not separate questions. You have to gel in your response of text B and C in according to the text A. In the text A, basically, there's just one response. Quoting without explanation, this is something wrong. You have to quote from the text, then you have to give your explanation as must when you are quoting, please, otherwise it will be vague. Ignoring the graph or misreading it, please don't ignore the graph, otherwise you will not get from full marks. If it's the question is 25 marks, you will be getting out of 18 if you will miss that graph, or maybe out of 20. Over long introductions, please don't do it. Introductions should no more than like 5 to 7 lines. Okay, so every paragraph must answer how has English changed and how does text A show it. Please talk about this thing. This is the most important thing you need to know, and you have to gather lots and lots of information about how English language has changed over time. Now let me give you a perfect sample response. Now see, please write this response, learn it. I'm telling you, learn it. Learn this response and then embed the information of the response which you will get in your text. Like you can change the word breeches with yours. You can change, something wherever the words are. But otherwise you can learn, this actual standard response. Text A taken from instruction manual written, but you can change the genre, that where the text A is taken from. You can change the year. Provides a clear illustration of how the English language has changed over time, particularly in terms of lexis, grammar, orthography, and discourse style. These are the sentences you have to embed. When supported by the collocational evidence in text B and the frequency that are shown in text C, it becomes evident that the language of text A reflects a historical stage of English. These are the wordings you have to embed in your answer. By limited standardization in different social and cultural priorities. The best intro. See, you can also take help from this introduction as well. But then there are so many. Okay, now this is next. One significant way in which text A is exemplified. So we start from text A. We talk about text C in between. And then in between there is text B too, right? Text A also demonstrates orthographic variation. And then there are words which are highlighting a lack of fixed spelling. Then there is text C which we are adding into it, right? So we are keep on adding, text A, B and C. The spelling trousers, this is the B, text B. We are not writing text B continuously, but sometimes we are just talking about the spelling. It means we are talking about the collocations. See, now you can read out this entire response. I'm scrolling it down. Text A is semantic change, particularly in the phrase I flatter myself. See, so you can extract the responses, extract the examples and talk about and comment on them. Text B supports this in prediction as early collocates of flatter. Text A further reflects historical change through its sentence structure and grammatical style. The sentences are long, complex. Always comment on the sentence structure, please. Text A reflects a period in which written texts were often aimed at a more limited and specialist readership. Finally, the discourse style of text A highlights changes in authorial voice and professional identity. So this is how the perfect responses, and you guys can easily create it. Why this would score high? AO1 is assessment objective 1. Terminology analysis is there. It means precise, it's controlled. Assessment objective 2, language change understanding, embedded, not listed. It's embedded in between. Text A, according to text A, B, and C, I've commented on all three. Assessment objective 3, use of data. Text B and C integrated meaningfully. Both of these along with text A. Focus on text A, maintain throughout. Text A means how English language has changed over time. So you cannot forget the main purpose. Has changed over time, right? So this was all, my dear friends. What you can do is that you can, take screenshots of this response. You can write this response from your hands on your registers so as to write the same response of the other papers, practice the same response like this, and then definitely you can hit me up for checking your response, giving your feedback. And if you really want to join my classes, then you can DM me on my Instagram. The link is in my bio on YouTube. That is English with Alevels. So I'm sure this session was useful for you, but you need to have lots of notes for 9093 or either a book, which I've already mentioned in my previous videos. If you have a book, if you have some notes, and if you don't have any notes, still, if you can just search out, this is a world of AI, my dear friends. You can search out that how English language has changed over time. You can search out a lot of things on Google. Always, you guys have your cell phones in your hands. You can search out a lot of things. Information is something you have to gather. You don't have to write your basic English. You have to just talk about how English language has changed over time. And you have to gather information from a lot of sources by quoting the references of some different people, and this is how it is going to be an expanded answer of 9093 paper 3 English A levels. So this was all from my side. I hope this was useful, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if there's any ambiguity still left, please drop me in the comment section below. Comments are always open for you guys, those who have subscribed my channel only. So subscribe it first and get into the comments, and definitely you guys can talk to me in real time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.